how to really truthfully engineer your own big money marketing funnel and how to do it in the next 30 days, right? I'm going to show you what I believe from testing and from just all of the client work that we've done in our agency and with our students and for my own companies, what I believe is the most effective marketing funnel model for acquiring maximum new customers from paid traffic. Now, I want you to get prepared. If this is your first time on one of these trainings, I go at lightning pace. Like Ryan said, I want to pack in as much content as I possibly can for you today. And so I am going to go at lightning pace. I do recommend that you grab a pad and pen or at least open up a blank document to take notes, because there is going to be a tremendous amount that we're going to cover. I promise you that I will hang out in the end to answer whatever questions there may be. And I want to be completely upfront with you that I have put together, which I'm going to save for the very, very end after all the content, an extremely exciting and special offer that I'm actually jacked to share with you guys that I put together just for Ryan, just for you guys and gals. So what you are going to hear from me today is a very different model, a very different approach to structuring your marketing funnel than what it is that you have no doubt heard before from a lot of other experts. And so therefore, right, the model that you are going to see is controversial, right? But like I said, I believe from repeated tests that this is the absolute best model for turning $1 of website traffic into $1.50, $2, $6 or more immediately in this context being within 48 hours, and doing it, being able to set it up and having it scale fast and big, right? I'm talking about guys like Sean who use this exact model, or results like Sean got using this exact model, where he took this $10,000 in one weekend because of this model. This is a gentleman, Lou Cozzolino. Lou, actually, after getting these results, I hired Lou. He is now on our team here. Lou took the exact formula that I'm going to teach you today, and within 90 days, he generated over $104,000. Or John Hutchinson, who took this exact model and created a $100,000 a month marketing funnel and did it in just 53 days. And here's Tim Donovan, who I met with when I went to Traffic and Conversion and used what I shared with him as it relates to this model and did $3.5 million in 8 months. This process works. All I ask is that for the next hour that you open up your perspective and you're willing to consider things outside of what the ordinary and average marketers are doing. Who does this model work for? Well, it works for info product marketers, info product publishers. It works for authors, speakers, consultants, professional service providers. It works for SaaS owners, and it works for physical product sales. The only individual that this does not work for is the individual who is simply brokering traffic. That means they're buying ads on some platform, whether it be, Facebook, or, they're doing solo email ads, and all they're doing is using an arbitrage method where they're sending traffic, from their source, from their traffic source to an offer and hoping to make a profit. For those type of marketers, if that's any of you on here, this is not for you. Other than that, this is going to work like gangbusters for you. Hopefully, many of you may know at least maybe a little bit about what it is that I do. And I hate this part, but I just want you to feel comfortable knowing that what it is that I'm going to share with you in our time together today, that you can bank on it, that it is legitimate, trial tested, legitimate strategies that you can bank on. And so I've been involved in direct response. I'm going to make this ultra quick. Been involved in direct response for it's about 13 years now. I've had the opportunity to work alongside of some of the best and brightest guys, not only like certainly Ryan Levesque, but in addition to Ryan, guys like Jay Abraham and Mark Ford, you may know him as Michael Masterson, my good buddy Rich Sheffrin, Clayton Makepeace, the highest paid copywriter working today, John Carlton, some of the best and brightest talk about my methodologies, like this handsome young fellow over here in the upper right. But guys like Justin Brook and Andre and Mike Bilsame and Kurt Molly and many of the biggest and brightest marketers have either come to me for consulting, gone through one or more of my coaching programs, attended one or more of my live events, or partnered with me on one or more events. And so I share that with you, not to brag or anything like that, but just so that you can feel good knowing that I'm going to give you the real deal today. You're going to see a tremendous amount, and I promise this is the last housekeeping slide, and then we're just going to get to it and rock this thing. But you're going to see a lot of strategies, a lot of tactics, and you're going to see a lot of success examples, right? And you're going to see a lot of numbers and a lot of case studies and whatnot of real marketers just like you, real campaigns, real results. But none of that is a guarantee that you're going to make the same amount of money they are. Sadly, unfortunately, there are some marketers on here that are going to see exactly what it is that we do, the key components of this model. They're going to understand exactly why it works. They're going to get it, and then they're going to do nothing and make absolutely no additional money. It sucks, but it's true, and so now you know. With you, I'm going to give you an in-depth peek into the six-figure funnel formula. Specifically for time purposes, I'm going to share with you the 3 critical pieces of this model. There are only 5 critical pieces, but for time purposes, I'm going to give you the majority. I'm going to share the 3 critical pieces with you. I'm going to talk to you about a very specific type of lead generation page that generates opt-ins excuse me, better than anything I've used to date and does not require a lead magnet. I have not used a lead magnet in years, nor do we use it with clients, and we get tremendous opt-in rates. You're going to understand what that page looks like, how to implement it, and how to begin using it right away. Then we're going to talk about a very specific type of conversion vehicle that we use on the front end to acquire new customers called the customer captivation offer. You'll understand how to price it, you'll understand how to position it, you'll understand what the page looks like, and you'll understand the model that you need to use excuse me, to have phenomenal conversion rates, sales conversion rates with the leads that your traffic captivation page is bringing you. And then we're going to talk about something called a transaction maximization sequence. Specifically, you're going to understand how to do a bunch of things with new customers, specifically how to increase average transaction value without using an upsell process, right? Or at least without using the traditional upsell. You'll understand why the traditional upsell pricing model is flawed and why you'll get better results with what it is that I'm about to share with you. And in fact, one of the things that I'm really going to break down for you, and I think that Ryan mentioned this, and this is funny, I want to point something out here. If anybody recognizes who this little chap is in the back right here, in the back of the room with his hand on his forehead, you go ahead and enter it in the dialogue box. But I'm going to share with you one piece of this formula that folks actually flew into West Palm. Yes, John, you got it. Dan, that is Dan. That's big Dan M right there in the back. But we had marketers fly in from all over the world. They paid $10,000 to be in attendance for 2 days to learn one piece of this formula that I'm going to share with you. So we had Lawton Childs in attendance, Frank Kern's copywriter. Andre Chaperon and his wife were there. We had the 12-week authors, the 12-week year authors were there. We had Evan Pagan's partner was there. It was just an amazing event. I'm going to actually share with you one piece of this formula that these folks paid $10,000 to learn. And so get ready. Now, all of that, is that cool? Like, you guys, would this be a valuable webinar, a valuable training if thus far what it is that I shared with you, you walked away with all of that, with clarity and with the ability to take action, go ahead and let me know in the GoToWebinar dialog box. I feed off of your enthusiasm. And so, cool. So we got, I love it. We got absolutely, yes from Kelly, yes from Amanda, yes from Eva. I think this is Gina. So Phil said yes, excited to hear the actionable tactics. Cool, awesome. You guys are all phenomenal. Skeptical, I love it, Tom. I get it, man. I would be skeptical too, but I'm gonna give you the goods. Let me start off before we jump into the first of the three critical pieces. I want to lay two enormously valuable pieces of foundation for you. In fact, I want to share with you one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned in the 13 years that I've been involved with the direct response world. I want to share with you one of the most valuable lessons that I've learned that continues every day to play a role in why I am able to create the profitable funnels that I am and why my students are able to do the same thing. And it comes back to this idea, this concept that was first presented many moons ago by legendary ad man, legendary advertising copywriter, Eugene Schwartz. And it's this idea of marketplace sophistication. And I want you to understand this because at the root of almost all marketing funnel failures or marketing funnels that struggle is an issue with marketplace sophistication. And so pay attention to this. Marketplace sophistication tells us what hook or big idea behind your marketing funnel, what hook or big idea for your marketing funnel, your specific prospects in your specific niche, in your specific market, for your specific product, what big idea or hook they will respond to, and which hooks and ideas they will ignore. Which ones they'll see as, oh, more of the same. Oh, I've heard that before, right? And every different niche, regardless of whether it's real estate agents, individuals going through a divorce, gardeners, people interested in weight loss, scrapbookers, it doesn't matter. Every marketplace goes through an evolution of what's called marketplace sophistication. And knowing what that level of marketplace sophistication is for your prospects. And I'm going to break this down for you. I'm going to break this down. I'm going to tell you the 5 levels. I'm going to tell you how to spot the level of your market, and I'm going to show you how your marketing needs to adjust to the right level of marketplace sophistication. But knowing what that level of marketplace sophistication is for your prospects, that's what allows us to build your marketing funnel on a hook or idea that will catch their attention, generate interest, and get them to respond. Like I said, there are 5 levels. Let me break this down for you. Let me break this down quickly so that you understand how every market evolves over time in terms of marketplace sophistication. So when as a marketer, when as a product owner, when as an entrepreneur, you have a product that or service that you are the first person to be able to promise a result, when you are able to promise an outcome, promise a result, promise a benefit that nobody else has promised to date, that means you are operating at a level 1 market. And the only thing that you need to do in your marketing is make the promise. An example of this, the example that I like to give all the time is at one point or another, there were no fat burners on the market. You know, those pills that you can take that speed up your metabolism, help people lose weight, and prevent the absorption of fat. Well, at one point in time, there were no fat burners on the market, right? There were none being sold. And then the first company, the first entrepreneur released the very first fat burner. Well, when they released the very first fat burner, all they had to say to sell it, to market it and sell it effectively, was take this pill and you'll lose weight. That was it. That's all they had to say, because nobody had ever made that promise, had made that claim to prospects. And so because prospects had never heard that promise before, they were at level 1 of marketplace sophistication. But like what happens at in every marketplace, competitors come along, they see what's working, they see what claims and appeals and promises other companies are making that are effective, and they come along and they begin to make the same claim, right? Well, eventually what happens is your prospects move to level 2. Now, level 2, and I want you to pay attention to this, because level 2 is where so many marketers, the majority of marketers, get stuck. You see, at level 2 is where we see an expansion of the promise, an expansion of the claim. What that means is that now it becomes about enlarging the promise, enlarging the claim. So in our example of the fat burner, here is where we see marketers, they take the claim, instead of take this pill and you'll lose weight, it becomes take this pill and you'll lose 10 pounds. Take this pill and you'll lose 15 pounds. Take this pill and you'll lose 18 pounds and 10 inches, right? It's the expansion of the claim. Just like in our world, right? Like you've seen it before in the world of internet marketing, right? At some point it was do this and get more website traffic, right? That was level 1. Then it became like, do this and get 1,000 Facebook fans, right? And then it was do this and get 10,000 Facebook fans. Do this and get 100,000 Facebook fans, right? And what marketers do is they expand the claim more and more and more. And they think that the way to effectively compete in a crowded, saturated marketplace is by simply expanding their claim more than everybody else. But the reality is that at some point, it's not true, right? At some point, like today, imagine if we said, take this pill and lose 100 pounds, right? Not only is it not true, but it's not believable and it's not credible. So you reach a point with level 2 where you can no longer expand the claim because it's either not true or it's not true and it's not believable and it's not credible, right? Or one of the above or all of the above, right? And so that's at the point where the savvy marketer moves to level 3. Now, level 3 is where we introduce what's called the unique mechanism. Now, listen to me here. The unique mechanism is one of the things that I use in almost every single funnel that we create in-house, and we use it in almost every single funnel that we create for clients in our agency. Some of the biggest direct response marketing companies on the planet come to us to have their funnels created, and we use this, right? So the unique mechanism is the unique piece, part, component, process, aspect, system of your product or service that delivers on the promise. It's the unique piece or part of your product or service that actually delivers on the claim, that actually delivers on the promise. Now, here's the thing that I want you to understand, and I'm going to tell you in just a second the 3 different ways to create or develop a unique mechanism. I'm going to tell you the 3 different types of unique mechanisms. This is what I want you to get. Listen to me. The unique mechanism, and you've seen this before, the unique mechanism is anytime you've seen an infomercial and they say, right, the secret is in the X. The reason why these knives never dull, never need to be sharpened, why they'll last you 20 years and you don't have to sharpen them and you never have to buy new knives is because the secret is in the German steel. The secret is in the X, right? What they say after the secret is in, that's the unique mechanism. In the case of the knives, right, that's why the knives never need to be sharpened. That's why the promise is true. That's why they'll remain sharp. They can cut through, tomatoes and watermelons and soda cans and cement and blah, 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 never dull, right? Why? Because of the unique mechanism. See, the unique mechanism is the piece or part of your promise, listen to me carefully here, that gives your prospects hope. It's the aspect of your promise that makes them say, that's why it didn't work before. That's why all the fat burners didn't work before, because none of them had X, right? In our case, the unique mechanism is, it's take this pill that contains Garcinia cambogia, right? And lose 20 pounds of fat, blah, 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 in the next week. Maybe this time it will work because of the unique mechanism, of the Garcinia, right? Maybe that's why all those other supplements didn't work. They didn't have this one ingredient, right? And so it gives your prospects hope that this time around things will be different, right? It's the SEO software with the unique algorithm, right? It's the gardening soil with the unique secret mix of nitrogen, potassium, and whatever, and iron, right? That's why it grows big, gorgeous flowers and plants and vegetables, right? It's the unique mechanism. Now, there are three different ways to create a unique mechanism, right? The first is what I call the existing mechanism, right? That really just means that you have it, right? That means that there is something truly unique about your product that delivers the result. It is a unique ingredient in your fat burner, or it is a special ingredient in your pizza sauce, or it is a special process that you use as a chiropractor for alleviating low back pain, right? That's the existing mechanism when you truly have a unique piece, right? But that's really a rarity. Unfortunately, that's a rarity for most marketers. And so then you've got to go to one of the other two remaining mechanisms. The second type of mechanism, is what I call the unspoken mechanism. Right? I used to refer to this as like the Hopkins mechanism, referring to the story of Claude Hopkins. Claude Hopkins, another legendary ad man, the story goes that he was hired many, many years ago to work with the Schlitz beer company, right? And they brought him into their factory to show him around, and he noticed something going on over there. And he said, what's going on over there? And they were purifying the, it's like this purification process for the beer. And Claude Hopkins said, well, why aren't you telling anybody about that? And they said to him, well, because every beer manufacturer, every beer company does that. And he said, but nobody's sharing that story. Nobody is telling that story. Nobody is sharing that. And so he did. And he took Schlitz from 5th place in the market to first place in the market in a matter of months, right? The unspoken mechanism is not necessarily unique to your product or service, meaning that other competitors have it in their product or service. Other competitors might offer it, right? But other competitors are not talking about it. And so therefore it's unique to your prospect. And that's the key. It's not like, well, everybody else has it. It doesn't matter if everybody else has it or anybody else has it. What it matters is who is presenting it and offering it to the marketplace. Because what Claude did, what Hopkins did with unspoken mechanism is, right, it was unique to the prospects, right? And so that's the second way I used to do that many, many, many moons ago. I used to work with chiropractors, and we used to have chiropractors talk about the type of x-ray machine that they were using. Right, and they would say to me, like, why does that work, right? And everybody, around here has a very similar type of x-ray machine, right? But if nobody's talking about it, it gives us the ability to leverage it as a unique point of value. The third and final way is what I call, and don't be intimidated by this name, this is the funnest, the most enjoyable one of all of them. I call it the transubstantiated mechanism, right? Transubstantiation is a term that comes right from Roman Catholicism. And this whole idea of transubstantiation in marketing comes from Bill Bonner, the founder of Agora. And transubstantiation in Roman Catholicism is all about, right, this idea of, like turning, the wine into, Christ's blood. And I'm not talking about religious stuff in this context, right? But it's taking something ordinary and making it extraordinary. That's what the transubstantiated mechanism is. It's you taking the ordinary and presenting it, packaging it so that it's viewed as extraordinary. You've seen this before. Certainly you've seen this before if you've spent any time in the internet marketing world. For example, how many of you are familiar with the tripwire, right? The tripwire offer. How many of you are familiar with the tripwire? If you've heard of the tripwire, the tripwire offer, go ahead and just say yes right? So Paul said, yes. Paulina, yes. John, yup. Troy, yes. Jeff, Liquidator. David, yes. Right, Assad, so many yeses. It's crazy. Charlotte, Kerry, Phil, Bobby, Kristen, Cool, right? You've all heard, Heather said, hate the term, right? So a tripwire is and everybody knows if I asked you guys, right, where does that term originate, right? All of you that are familiar with the term would know that it originates from Ryan Dice and the folks over at Digital Marketer, right? Today you say tripwire, and that's like perceived as this technique, this methodology that Digital Marketer invented or Digital Marketer popularized, right? But the reality is that a tripwire offer is nothing more than a low-priced offer, right? Or a low price, low barrier of entry, right? It's extremely low priced, low barrier of entry offer. Is that anything new? No. The reality is that that's been around for years and years, right? But because it was part of a quote unquote unique process, they named it and repositioned it as a unique mechanism. So look, check this out. There are a lot of marketers that have bought into the tripwire as being the only way or the most effective way for acquiring customers. And when they first heard it, they said, that's why my prior funnel didn't work. That's why it didn't work. That's why maybe this time it's going to work, because of this unique mechanism that I've never tried before, this unique idea of a tripwire. It's the tripwire that's going to give me the result, right? It gives prospects hope. Well, what happens is, right, eventually over time, in most markets, that unique mechanism gets knocked off, and it no longer becomes a unique mechanism. An example of this is in the world of the fat burners, where, like I said earlier, I use Garcinia Cambogia as an example. At one point, people made a boatload of money when that first hit the market. Today, you go do a Google search, go to Amazon and do a search, and you'll find dozens and dozens of products that contain Garcinia Cambogia. If we were going to come out with our own fat burner, that's not enough, right? It's not enough to simply have Garcinia Cambogia. That's when we go to level 4. And level 4, similar to level 2, is where we see an expansion on the unique mechanism. This is where it becomes pharmaceutical-grade Garcinia, or Garcinia attached to a digestive enzyme, or Garcinia that's cold-pressed, or, right? We see an expansion of the unique mechanism there. And then level 5 is where we move away from the product and it becomes about the prospect's experience. That's, are you sick and tired of dieting, exercising, taking pills and not losing weight? Are you tired of feeling self-conscious on the beach? Blah, blah, blah. The beauty is that we could remain at level 3. Those of you, especially that are info marketers, right, can remain at level 3 no matter what. 99% of the funnels that we create are at level 3, and we are able to dominate, right? And so, but I want you to understand the point of me sharing this with you. The point of me sharing this with you is this, that as your prospects are exposed to more and more advertising and marketing messages, over time, right, as they're exposed to more and more with bigger and bigger claims and promises, they become less and less responsive, right? That idea of the fat burner, like I said, take this pill and lose weight, it worked at the beginning when there were no other fat burners because it was a level 1 market, right? They had never heard that promise before. But check this out. Let's say that we all got together and we decided that we were going to release a new fat burner. We were going to hire the best doctors, the best nutritionists. We were going to go to the best companies for ingredients and nutrients. We were going to hire food scientists, right? We were going to put together the absolute best product. We were going to get the best branding, the best website. We were going to do everything right, right? But knowing now what it is in the market, right? What the market has said, what the market has been exposed to, what your prospects have heard, what claims, what promises we've heard. Imagine what would happen to us today if we released that new supplement and we said, take this pill and you'll lose weight. If that was our claim, right? Well, what would happen to us? What would happen is we would get clobbered and we would lose a boatload of money, regardless of how great the product is, regardless of how great the branding is, regardless of how much research we did into anything else, we would get slammed. Why? Simple. Because today, weight loss prospects are no longer at that first level of marketplace sophistication. So they don't respond to that level message anymore, right? Like I said, that, right? That one thing right there should be worth its weight in gold to you, right? When you understand that an immature marketing message, one that is built on a marketing hook or idea that prospects have seen before, that they've heard before, that they've come across before, right? What I call an immature marketing message, that is responsible for more marketing funnel failure than anything else I have seen, right? Rolling out with a marketing funnel message that is based on too low of a marketplace sophistication level, rolling out with a level 2 message when your prospects are at level 3, or level 3 when your prospects are at level 4, right? That is responsible for more marketing funnel struggle than anything else, right? And that's why it's critical that we identify a hook or big idea for your marketing funnel that is appropriate for the marketplace sophistication level of your prospects. That's why we start with marketplace sophistication before we worry about writing a headline, before we even get to the very first piece of the six-figure funnel formula, before we get to the traffic captivation page, before you write a single word of copy, before you think about a headline, before you think about what your add-on or your transaction maximization sequence is, before you think about any of that, you need to first and foremost identify what level of marketplace sophistication your prospects are at. And really what it comes down to, if we really want to strip away, is it's more about what your competitors have said, have claimed, promised, have presented to your market than it is anything else, right? I'm not talking about in this context about what your prospects are afraid of, what they desire, what their emotions are, what they're feeling. I'm not talking about that right now, right? What we're talking about is what has already been presented to your prospects. What have they heard before? What claims, what promises, what benefit statements have competitors already made? Because that gives us insight into what level of marketplace sophistication they are at. Once and only once you've nailed that, then do you go on to creating the hook or big idea, as Ryan and I talked about recently, for your phone. Before you write a single headline, before you pick before you set up your traffic captivation page, before you do anything, once we've got marketplace sophistication, then we nail the hook or big idea. What is a hook? Right? Well, a hook is nothing more than the marketing angle that you're using to grab your prospects' attention, to convey to them that you have something new, unique, different, and fresh to share with them, right? It's the angle that you are using to present your marketing message and then your product or service. That's all it is, right? And so the thing that I want you to understand, that I want you to grasp here, right, is that and listen to me, please, 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 please. Every marketing funnel, regardless of whether the marketer realizes it or not, regardless of whether they're aware of it or not, is based on some idea, is based on some hook, whether they worked on it or not, whether they've nailed it or not, whether it's exciting or it's garbage, there is an underlying idea. A headline is nothing more than a way to communicate an idea. If your headline is a garbage, plain vanilla headline like how to grow big tomatoes, there's an idea underneath there that you're going to teach people how to grow tomatoes, right? It might be a garbage idea. It might be a plain vanilla idea. It might be a run-of-the-mill idea. But every single marketing funnel is based on an idea, right? We want to make sure first and foremost that that idea is at the proper level of marketplace sophistication, and we need a hook or idea that will grab your prospect's attention, will show them that you've got something new, unique, different, and fresh to say, and something that allows you to present your marketing message, okay? Now I'm going to show you a very basic, simple, and fast way to create a general hook, just so that you can get a feel for what this process is like, right? So in this simple four-part formula, right? In this simple formula, there are 4 pieces to this. I'm going to tell you what these 4 pieces are, then I'm going to show you an example hook, and then I'm going to show you where these 4 pieces in this example hook. So let me just take a drink. Okay, so the first piece of the hook is prospect identification. This is the part of the hook that tells your prospect this is for you. We are speaking to you. Remember, today more so than ever before, because markets have become more and more fragmented, prospects value specialized information, right? They don't want just general legal advice. They want advice for their specific, for them and their specific situation, right? And so the first piece of our hook, prospect identification. Second piece, what I just said, specificity of situation. You're going to see how we're going to show them that the information that we are about to share with them, our marketing funnel message, right, addresses their specific situation, their specific need, their specific want, their specific desire, their specific hurdle, their specific frustration. The third piece, the proclamation of a new idea, the proclamation of something new. And this is critical, right? And you'll see this. And then, of course, the most valuable aspect of all of marketing is the big promise, right? That there is a promise of payoff, that there's a promise of benefit, that there's a promise of change, result, transformation. Prospect identification, specificity of situation, proclamation of a new idea, big promise. So check this out. This is totally made up. But here you go. If you're over the age of 54 and behind in saving for retirement, there's a little-known new investment vehicle that guarantees to double your net worth in 6 years. So let's break this down. Totally made up, just for example purposes. Excuse me. So first part, prospect identification. If you're over the age of 54, specificity of situation, and behind in saving for retirement. So we're identifying the prospect if you're over the age of 4, and this is the specific situation that you're dealing with, and you're behind in saving for retirement. Proclamation of a new idea. This is extremely simple, right? There's a little-known new investment vehicle, big promise, that guarantees to double your net worth in 6 years. Simple, basic formula for creating your marketing funnel hook. You're identifying your prospect, you're addressing their specific situation, right? You're making the proclamation of a new idea, a new vehicle, a unique mechanism, right? In this case, we're alluding to it, right? We actually create a lot of our marketing funnels where we actually name or address the unique mechanism right here with the promise, right? So now you understand by this point, right? You understand the necessity of marketplace sophistication, right, and nailing it for your particular prospects, for your market, understanding what it is that they've heard before from competitors. Why? Because listen to me, you cannot simply address or say the same thing that they've heard already. Why should they listen to you? Why should they engage with you? Why should they believe you? Why should they care what you have to say if all you are doing is simply saying, claiming, presenting the same thing that they've heard before, right? So we need to understand marketplace sophistication, and then most of the time you're going to operate at level 3, right? Because you're going to leverage that unique mechanism. More often than not, you're going to come up with the transubstantiated mechanism. It just is very easy to do in our world, right? And then we're going to come up with our hook, and you can start by using that 4-step process, right? Now, once you've got that, now we put together the 6-figure funnel formula. We put together your using the 6-figure funnel formula, and you're going to see why this is more effective and faster and easier than any other model. I know it sounds too good to be true, but watch. The very first piece that we put together is what we call the traffic captivation page. Now, the traffic captivation page is really what behind the scenes here at marketingfunnelautomation.com we call the 2-step hook, because here's how simple this is, right? And this was a page that I created using the 6-figure funnel formula. This is an example of a traffic captivation page. There is no lead magnet being offered. The thing that is being offered is the hook. The hook that we created in the prior step that was based on the right level of marketplace sophistication now gets presented on your traffic captivation page. And as a side note, we always start with this simple page, right? We don't start with a page that's got a picture, bullets, or anything like that. We start with a page that literally has, now we actually start with a page that's got the headline. It's usually divided into two sections. We've got the pre-head, which is sometimes called the eyebrow. This is where we do the prospect identification over here. And then the main headline, this is where we do the other three pieces, right, where we've got the proclamation of news, secret 60-day metabolic stimulation system. You can see right here, this is a unique mechanism. And then, excuse me, over here, you could see this is kind of specificity of situation and prospect identification all in one, thinking about getting ready for a fitness competition. And then what do we've got? We've got the big promise over here, and then we've got the opt-in. That's all it is. And typically what we do now is we'll use the two-step, where they click the button and then a light box pops up for them to opt in. That's it. You don't have to create a lead magnet. You don't have to offer a lead magnet. You don't have to worry about, is this the right lead magnet for my market? Has others offered this lead magnet before? Is the lead magnet good? How am I going to create the lead magnet? The reality is, let me just do this really quick for time purposes. The reality is, just as an FYI, that the lead magnet, the way it is taught today by a lot of marketers, is really a distortion it's a distortion of the two-step marketing model that was used by guys like Jay Abraham for years, or still is, by Jay Abraham, Dan Kennedy, Gary Halbert, and the biggest direct response companies like Agora. The reality is that, and when I first started marketing, what we did, this was like, we used to use toll-free recorded messages where people would call in, leave their contact information, and then we would mail them out in physical mail, a package, right? The two-step marketing funnel model that this whole idea of the lead magnet is based on is we would offer them free information, right? But that free information that was being offered, that is delivered to the prospect, is the marketing and sales vehicle. There is no difference in the information that is delivered, the information that somebody is opting in for, and the marketing and sales vehicle. Here's a great example for you. Many of you may be familiar with my friend Jeff Walker. I know that Ryan is good friends with Jeff. Jeff is a sweetheart. I've known Jeff for probably like a decade now, and I was a faculty member for him at one of his like $10,000 things, and I love the guy. He's a great guy, right? And if you've looked at anything, right, and it's wildly effective, Jeff's model. Well, if you've looked at his model before, if you looked at Jeff's model before, and excuse me, even if you've gone through his video series recently, what are you opting in for? You're opting in for a series of videos. What are those videos? Those are marketing and sales videos, right? It's a marketing process. What you're opting in for is doing the marketing and selling. He's not offering a completely separate, disconnected, free spreadsheet or free piece of software just to get you on a list. The thing that you are opting in for is the marketing and sales vehicle. It is the marketing and sales funnel. That's why we have not used a lead magnet at Marketing Funnel Automation or for our clients in years. Right? And excuse me. Now, the thing that I want you to understand, and I just want to go through this very quickly for time purposes. Here's what I want you to get. I'm asked this all the time, so no doubt somebody on here has this question, right? I'm always asked. So people will say, "So wait, so you are you are taking them from this page, and then where are you bringing them? You're actually bringing them into your actually, let me bring you to that. So for traffic captivation page, right? This is one example. We brought his conversion rate from 45 to 53. This is one client. He said, Todd, just one bit of advice from module 3 about lead generation. That's this particular page. Increased my opt-in rate by 19.62%. According to my stats, somehow doubled my front end sales, 2,389 visitors, right? But from the traffic captivation page, we then bring people to the customer captivation offer, right? Customer captivation offer. Listen to me carefully here. Customer captivation offer, this is where we bring them to a page that is typically delivered with a VSL with a delayed add to cart button, meaning the button does not display until the price is presented or the offer is presented in the video sales letter. Here's the thing. This is the question that I'm asked all the time, and I'm going to tell you the price point of this in just a second and why, because it brings us to the next step in the funnel, right? What I'm asked all the time is people will say, so Todd, you bring people from this traffic captivation page where they're opting in. You're not creating or designing or offering a lead magnet, and then you're bringing them to this customer captivation page that is simply selling them on your product. Well, the answer is no. And listen to me carefully here. I'm going to share with you something now. I'm going to do this ultra fast, but I'm going to share something with you now that is, again, at the foundation of everything I do. Every single funnel that we create, we break down very close to this. There's the first 75% of this video. I don't care if it's a 10-minute video, if it's an 8-minute video, if it's an 18-minute video, it does not matter. It gets broken down like this: 75% and 25%. The 75% is marketing. The 25% is selling. What's the difference? This is so important, please. What's the difference between selling and marketing? So selling is when you are talking a product, the features, the advantages, the benefits, when you're presenting testimonials from clients or customers or patients, right? When you're talking about the offer, when you're talking about the guarantee, when you're talking about the bonuses, the premiums, etc. When you're talking about your product, your company, that is selling, right? Marketing is when you're talking about the prospect and their needs, their wants, their desires, their situation, their obstacle, right? The solution or the solution that they have to choose from, and what is the best solution for them, right? See, the job of marketing, as many of you know, having come from Ryan's world, as said by Peter Drucker, right, is to make selling superfluous, meaning to make it unnecessary, to make it easy, to make it simple. The better the job that you do with marketing, the easier the job of selling is. See, what most marketers, new marketers especially, right, struggling marketers, what they've done is they've confused and conflated selling and marketing. They think that it's one and the same thing online, right? That's why some people refer to it as a sales funnel, a marketing funnel. They use it interchangeably. But the reality is that selling and marketing are two vastly different activities with two vastly different results and outcomes, right? What most marketers are thinking is wow, you're bringing them right to a sales page? You're bringing them right to a sales presentation? No. We're bringing them to a marketing presentation, a presentation that educates them strategically, right? That leads them to the conclusion that what we're about to offer them is the exact thing that they need before we ever even mention the product, right? It's what we call education-based marketing, or EBM content. Right? And the exact steps in the series of this is irrelevant for today. Like, it's not important for today, right? The thing that I want you to understand is I want you to understand that we're bringing them to a customer captivation page, which is presented with a simple video, does not have a headline, has a delayed add to cart button, and this starts with the hook, right? We pick up where they opted. In this case, look, in this case, if we went back here, in this case, right, this is an individual that is obviously over the age of 54, that they match up or save more for retirement, and they want to know this little known investment vehicle that guarantees to double their net worth in 6 years. So when we get to this particular point, when we get to our customer captivation page, that's where we are picking up, right? And we are going to lead them through a process that shows them why this new and unique method that we've talked about in the hook, why it is the best solution for their needs, right? Why it is essential, why the other solutions that they've been exposed to are not the right solution for them, right? We're going to educate them, but we're going to educate them in a way that leads them to this conclusion. The way that I like to put it, the way I state it, the way I teach clients that pay us a lot of money to master this is, I want you to think like a prosecutor, right? You are a prosecutor. You are presenting a case, right? In this case, in this example, I'm presenting a case to these prospects of why, when they are behind in saving for retirement and they're over the age of 54, why this new and unique process is the right process for them, is the best process for them, it's the safe process, the safest process, the most effective process for their needs. I'm going to show it to them. I'm going to prove it to them. Right? So then once I reach this point with them, once I get them to this point, right, and there's a series of steps that we follow, once we get them to this point right here, when I offer them, right, when I offer them that unique process, they're already sold on it. Right? I don't have to try to sell them. I don't have to try to use high-pressure scarcity and takeaways and all this nonsense that you see from so many people, right? When you've done the job of marketing. That's why you don't need a lead magnet, right? Because the question becomes, without a lead magnet, how do you offer value? Well, you offer value in this part. You offer value with your EBM content. You offer value by educating your prospects in a way that leads them to this point, right? That's why a client of mine, Charles Kirkland, we made one tweak to his front-end offer and he generated $52,000 in 7 days, $100,000 in the following 30 days. Now, Charles is not a newbie marketer by any stretch, and so that's why, it only took one tweak to generate those kind of numbers. But these are the kind of results that you can expect from making the right EBM-based customer captivation offer. Oh, I promised you that I would tell you the price point here. So again, on this, so the price point that we use, and you're going to understand why in just a second, is 23 to 29. We found that at 23 to 29, we still get as high of a conversion rate as we do with an ultra low price offer, but we're able to make the next stage of this process work, which is one of my favorite parts of the six-figure funnel formula. And so let me show you how that works. And that is the transaction maximization sequence. I'm going to talk to you about the most important offer in that sequence, and that is the reverse add-on. Now, here's how this works, right? This is the traffic captivation offer page. From here, right, we go to the order form, right? And so after the order form, the very first page that somebody comes to is the reverse add-on. Now check this out. If you've been involved in internet marketing for any length of time, no doubt you've been taught the whole idea of the upsell, right? Like and what you've been taught is you need to do what McDonald's has done, right? Like, and I'm going to show you the flaw in this, right? But you've heard you need to do what McDonald's does. What does McDonald's do? McDonald's asks people, let's say that are ordering food, that are going through the drive-thru, right? You want to upsize or biggie size this, right? And so no doubt you've been taught, like, you need to offer an upsell. And the formula that gets utilized is you need to offer 3 times the price. Meaning that whatever the price point of your main product is, right? If this was $100, that your first upsell should be 3 times that price and should be $300, right? You sell somebody something for $100, the very next thing that you should offer them should be up to 3 times the price, or $300. Let me ask you this. Where in the real world of commerce, where on the planet will you go and buy something and then immediately are you offered something else for 3 times the price of what it is that you just bought? Nowhere, right? You go to Apple and you buy an iPad. You're not offered an iMac, right? What you're offered is a case. You're offered a charger. You're offered the Apple Care. You go and you buy a man's suit for $3,500. You're not offered something for 2 or 3 times the price of that. You're offered a shirt for $350. You're offered, a tie for $100. You're offered a belt for $80. You're offered shoes for $200, right? You're offered these add-ons, right? And you're offered something of value, something that's going to make your purchase more valuable, easier to use, quicker to use, right? More enjoyable, right? That is a fraction of the price of the main offer. That's a fraction of the price. The reverse add-on is up to 80% of the of the price, so up to 80% of the price of your customer captivation, up to 80% of the price of your customer captivation offer. At up to 80% of the price, you can expect to see 30 to 40% conversion rate, meaning 3 to 4 out of every 10 new customers will take advantage of this reverse add-on. I'll tell you that when it is up to 60%, that you can expect to see a high of 60%, roughly. I'm not saying exactly, it could be 57, it could be 61, take rate on that offer. Meaning in this case, just using these numbers as a simple example, if the first offer was $100 and your reverse add-on was $60, don't be surprised to see close to 60%, a 60% take rate, meaning 6 out of every 10 customers take advantage of that offer. Why is that important? Why is that critical? Right? And this is the most important offer in the transaction maximization offer sequence, right? Why is it so important? Well, or so profitable, right? Well, number one, it operates within the frame of typical consumer experience. That means that what consumers are accustomed to seeing, accustomed to being offered, is an add-on offer, is something that is a percentage of the price, right? That's what McDonald's does, not the 3 times offer price, right? That's what people consumers are expecting. The second thing is that it creates yes momentum, right? It creates yes momentum as we are going into the other offers in our sequence. It's really these 3 offers right here, right? So we're getting a yes on the main offer, and then we're getting another yes right away, creating yes momentum going in here. When you offer when you have an upsell, when marketers have an upsell that is priced at 3 times the price point of their main product, the overwhelming majority of customers say no. That means that right off the bat, you are starting out with a no in whatever kind of offer sequence you have in place after your main offer. And so we want to start off by creating yes momentum. We also want to maximize take rate. Listen to me carefully here. Get this. For those of you that are in the information marketing business, for those of you that sell information, right? Do you want, would you rather have 2 out of 10 people, 2 out of 10 people, or I should really say 8 out of 10, that all they get is a low price product from you, meaning you get a new customer and 8 out of 10 people, if not 9 out of 10 people, all they're getting from you is a little product, right, is your front end product? Or would you rather have 5 out of 10 that are exposed to more than just that product? Right? Meaning that when we get 10 customers, for example, I want as many of those new customers to be exposed to as much of my teaching, as much of my voice, as many videos, as many PDFs, as many books from me as possible. Why? Because the more of me that they are exposed to in a short period of time, right, the faster bonding occurs, the faster I build rapport, and the faster those individuals move into the back end, which is where the money is made in our business, right? In other words, the speed at which customers upgrade, the speed at which customers take advantage of your back end is directly linked to the percentage of buyers of your transaction maximization sequence. As well, last thing that I'll say, understand this, right? That there is an inverse correlation between your take rate on those offers and your refund rate, right? That means that the folks that only take advantage of your first offer, they will have the highest refund rate, right? When you have an offer sequence in place, like I'm sharing with you here, right? Your refund rate goes down. The people that take advantage of your main product and your reverse add-on have a lower refund rate. The people that take advantage of your main offer, your reverse add-on, and the next offer have an even lower refund rate, right? So this is not only a way for you to create yes momentum, it's not only a way for you to maximize transaction value, right? But it's also a way for you to lower refund rate. How well does this work? This is a client, Jared Emmon. He works with Kenrick Cleveland. You may know him. He said, I don't have the numbers yet. He said, your upsell formula rocks. We did a small launch, over 70% take rate. Adam said that the formula took his lame 10% and turned it into a 26% conversion rate. Now, look, I want to move on, and I want to share something with you for time purposes. Look, once you've got your funnel set up the right way, right? Once you understand, once you look at your market and you look at marketplace sophistication, right? You understand and you identify marketplace sophistication. You identify the proper unique mechanism for your market based on competitors, right? You develop the right hook using the 4 steps that I shared with you. You put in place your traffic captivation page like I shared with you. You put in place your customer captivation offer, and you put in place at least your reverse add-on. Scaling up your sales is easy. It really is easy because there's no shortage of traffic generation sources today, right? And the reality is that you don't even need to increase your traffic. This was a gentleman who messaged me on Facebook and said, I bought your 6-figure funnel formula last year, implemented it in my business. It's the only new system that I implemented in the past 6 to 8 months, and boom, a 30% increase in revenue with no extra traffic, right? But if you want to increase your traffic to scale even more, this is the exact process that we use at MFA with every new funnel, right? And that we use when we're starting with a new agency client, right? It's called tiny budget recycling. And here's how it works, just like this, right? You start with whatever budget you have. Maybe it's $50. That's it. That's all you have, let's say. You let that $50 drive traffic for you in sales, and then you take that money from those sales that you will recoup back within 48 hours, and you reinvest it back into traffic the next day. If you did that every day for 30 days, you could drive $1,500 worth of traffic into a funnel. Like the most we've ever spent in traffic in a single month was about $96,000, $97,000, right? I didn't start off with that $97,000 in a bank account sitting waiting for me to invest, right? We started off with a particular daily budget and just recycled it over and over and over. This is one particular funnel last year where we did that one funnel. We put in $10,014, took out $15,659. It's about $1.50 for every dollar we put in, right? This is $1.88 back for every dollar that we put in to different funnels in November, December. This is another example of a funnel that we put in $1 and got back $2.20. Not just us, our 6-figure funnel clients, using the same exact approach that I just shared with you. This is Graham English. He's a pretty popular marketer in our community, right? One new funnel using the 6-figure funnel formula. No upsells, no transaction maximization sequence. He said he got up a winning offer following 6FF to the letter, right? And he said $6 for every $1 in. Here's Paul, right? Paul, one 6-figure funnel formula, right? He spent $154.05, got back $904, a profit of $749.95. And then he posted his results to Facebook. This is Shola, one new funnel, no optimization, extracting $20 for every $1 that she put in using this process. Don't overthink it, right? Here's Justin. Justin, one new funnel using the 6FF process that I just shared with you. He spent $509, generated $3,200 in 4 days. He said the best $500 investment that he made in his business in some time. He launched his funnel using 6FF process on Saturday, spent $509, and by Wednesday, he generated $3,200. And so what I want to do for you, like as promised, is I put together an unbelievable offer, a special offer just for Ryan, just for you guys today, so that you can learn the full 6-figure funnel formula process, get all the training that all these folks did, so that you can just do exactly what it is that they've done. And so I'm going to do this really, really quick so that I can get to your questions. I call this the fastest way to $100,000 because I've never seen another funnel process work so quickly and so repeatedly than this process. That's why a guy like Andre Chaperon said the product is freaking amazing. It's why we've generated unsolicited testimonials and unsolicited reviews out the wazoo, all over the place about the 6FF training program. And I'm going to give you stuff today with this program that I've never given anybody with this program, that's not available for sale anywhere, that I've only done with high-paying clients, right? This is an example of John Hutchinson, right? I mentioned him earlier. He went from $0 to $100,000 in just 53 days. I saw him at Traffic and Conversion, then he sent me an email, and he said in the last 6 weeks, just one funnel has brought in over 100K. This is both amazing and life-changing, and for that, I'm grateful. Eddie Coleman, right, who many of you might be familiar with. He went from struggling to pay his bills, $1,719 in his account. He used 6FF. He made $1.5 million last year using this exact process, right? So what do you get with the six-figure funnel formula? Well, you get the entire process broken down, and it consists of five pieces, right? You'll understand everything from assessing marketplace sophistication, generating your hook, creating the traffic captivation page, everything with the customer captivation offer for sales conversions, structuring it, scripting it, the whole process, the entire email follow-up sequence and system, all of the transaction maximization offers. It's broken down for you in a 12-module program that you get instant access to. It's not drip-fed. It's not released over the course of 2 months or something like that. You get immediate access to it all at once. It's a little bit over 3 hours, so there's no fluff in this. It's not like it's the kind of course that you can go through and have mastered literally in one single day, and it covers everything from A to Z. Right? These are people, unsolicited testimonials and comments just from the first modules. This is that dude Paul who said, right, I've been involved in IM for 10 years, written copy for over 100 offers, and I must say the information that you've given in the first 3 modules is worth the entire price of the course. Right? This was Adam. Adam was doing pretty well for himself, doing about $8,000 a month. Using my product, we turned his annual income into his monthly income. He was making... We took him to $116,000 a month. This is James Stafford, just said the best investment I've ever made. He knows exactly what to do now. Those modules are just the first part, because you also get access to what I call the ultimate collection of marketing funnel cheat sheets. These are the exact cheat sheets that we use in our agency at Marketing Funnel Automation, just made a little bit nicer for you guys and gals. You get access to the cheat sheet for the add-on offer creation, stick strategy, follow-up, your tracking, evergreen cheat sheet, subject line, order form, the offer creation, product creation, traffic captivation page, the sale, like you name it, and more than we even have listed here. You also get access to 4 of the most intense Q&A calls that I've ever done. For the first group of, I think it was 1,000 people that went through the six-figure funnel formula, they peppered me for 10 hours over the course of these calls with every question that you could imagine about creating, optimizing, scaling, growing traffic for their six-figure funnel formula. You get access to all of those recordings, unsolicited testimonials about the value from those calls. You also get ongoing lifetime kind of interaction with our group. I don't even know how many people are in the group now. When this screenshot was taken, it was over 600. So that you can get feedback, guidance, insight, resources, like you name it, from both my team, from me, as well as from other 6FF clients on Facebook. This is Dean. Dean said, I'm blown away by the help, support, and content delivered in this Facebook group alone. Put that with the actual course, and I'm overwhelmed with amazement. Kristen said, Todd Brown, finding you was a turning point. Not only have you taught me the foundation of our funnel, you've opened the doors for Ryan Dice, Jeff Walker, Russell Brunson. I don't know why Ryan Levesque is not on there. Man, that's a shame. Got to fix that. Demir said, the direction, gotten direction, so much value, clarity, and direction from Todd, I find it hard to describe. And then he shot me an email and he said, this is a new page in my life started. Thanks to you. So everything that you get today, you get the modules, you get the ultimate collection cheat sheets, you get the Q&A recordings, you get the Facebook group, a $643 value. But I put together a couple of bonuses for you. For those of you that maybe are just getting started with information products, what I did for about 90 minutes is I documented how we put together our different types of information products, all the software that we use, the tools that we use, the cameras, the microphones, how we've gotten experts to participate, how we've outsourced, how we've had things ghostwritten, and for all these different niches that I've worked in, which all of them are outside of the internet marketing arena. And so you get access to that. Then, right, so you'll know how to create products, you'll understand how to create the funnel. Then what I did was I lined up 4 of the most knowledgeable traffic generation experts that I know. Jonathan Mizell, Charles Kirkland, who again became a client, Gowar Chaudhry, and Justin Brook. And for 3 hours, I grilled them about how to profitably drive traffic to a new funnel. So how do you use paid traffic, things like Facebook and Google AdWords and email solo drops and banners with a new funnel? How do you do it safely? How do you do it profitably? How do you discover the most profitable sources of traffic for your particular funnel when you've got a new funnel and a new offer? So you get the modules, the cheat sheets, the Q&A call recordings, the private Facebook group, the info products that sell, how to drive tons of traffic to a new funnel, a total value of $921. Then I added a third bonus on top. Check this out. You get what's called the 30-day look over my shoulder video series, where what I did was in a brand new market with no experience, no product, no connections, no list, as chosen by the Six-Figure Funnel Formula community, I created a brand new funnel from scratch, from A to Z. I did every step from competitive analysis, assessing marketplace sophistication, creating the hook, writing the scripts, and I recorded the entire thing for you, the entire process, giving commentary on everything. It's a total of 10 look over my shoulder videos. You get those videos. You get the 4 VSL videos, or the videos that I use to create the entire funnel, the videos that I created that you'll see how I create them. You get them. You actually get the video scripts that I created. So you'll have an actual script for the customer captivation offer, the reverse add-on offer. You'll get to see the traffic captivation page. You'll see how I come up with the hook. You actually saw it earlier on. You get the 2 mind maps, right? You get everything. I said the videos, the scripts, all of the training, a value of $597. And so this is just comments about, right? This is where he said, this training has far exceeded my expectations. Here is Jose, who said, just watch the first look over my shoulder session. I'm super excited to see where you go with this. Your analysis is awesome. This portion of the course by itself is worth many times the price. And these are all unsolicited comments. So you get all these bad boys, you get all of this, a total value of $1,518. Now look, I want you to think about it this way, right? Because $1,518 is not a drop in the bucket. But if all this program did for you was give you a funnel that generates new sales every day at just break